Hey everybody, I am here to do another tarot tag. This one was based off of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it was put together by Miss Tracy too. I will link her video in the description box, and I will also link the article she posted to Maslow's hierarchy of needs so you can see. But basically you break it down into 5 categories and show which decks represent those categories for you. So number 1 is the basic needs. Number 2 is your safety net, your home sweet home deck. Number 3 would be love and belonging, or sex and lusty feelings. Number 4 would be your confidence booster, the deck that gives you self-esteem. And then 5 is your higher self, which deck really resonates with you and operates on a higher vibration than some of the others. So let's start. Let's go with number 1. Number 1 is basic needs. Which decks fulfill that for me? I picked 2. I picked my Thoth deck and I picked my Centennial Rider-Waite. These 2 are my main study decks. I have these out all the time. I compare and contrast the cards. I journal about them. I, when I'm listening to podcasts or reading articles, these are the 2 that I'm studying the most. I definitely study others in depth too, but for the most part, these 2 are out on my altar. They're out on my desk, usually spread around in a mess, and these are the 2 that I'm working with. So for number 1, basic needs, Thoth. Number 2, no surprise, is the safety deck. Which one gives you those home sweet home feelings? And that for me is, of course, my Handel. And this one kind of blends into the next level too. So I'm going to kind of start showing some cards off from this, and you'll see why in a minute. So my Handel, obviously, if you've watched any of my videos, you know it was my first deck. And so it's my home sweet home. It always feels like an old friend. Some of the cards are upside down. And that brings us to the third. The third is what decks represent love and lust and sex and that feeling of belonging. Not necessarily to someone else, but to a feeling, I think. I would interpret that as. So the next card I have here is the Venus of Willendorf, who is the very picture of fertility. So that says that to me. We've got the Emperor who holds his virility in his hand, the Empress who wrestles with the Kundalini snake here, and some more strength also with another snake. And Kali, who is very obviously copulating with a man and a snake and whatever she wants, because she's Kali, and she does it. The next deck is I have 3 for this because apparently I think a lot about sex when I read tarot, so whatever. The next one is the Gothic tarot, and I picked this one not really for laughs or jokes, but this one kind of reminded me a lot of images that you would see in like Heavy Metal magazine, because I totally collect Heavy Metal magazine too. I'm very many flavors of nerd, guys. But yeah, these images are kind of like you can kind of see them. They're very obviously Gothic, but you've got the ladies with the flowy dresses and their bosoms out, and it's my favorite one. Well, it's my second favorite one. I think Temperance, the next one coming up, is my favorite. It's like, here we go, the Emperor with his ladies. This one's just, it's kind of romantic and sexy all at the same time, and it's kind of like a novelty deck for me. I don't use it very often. I do like it quite a bit though, because it's just got these great images in it. So yeah, so that one also has a very kind of like Victorian Gothic lust love for me. And then the next one I picked is more primal. I picked the Mary L, and I picked a few cards to show, because this to me is this deck to me shows very much the nature of life and how it is interconnected with all of that stuff. And I realize that some people might be hard pressed to find things in their tarot decks that make them think of a specific thing, especially sex. That's such a taboo topic for people in general. But these show, these cards that I picked really just show it being part of life. Like, it's just our nature. And these images really blend that together, at least for me. Let's see what you think. The Page of Swords. Ace of Cups with another snake image, which I pretty much think every snake image has to do with my crazy hair. Anyway, has to do with some sort of phallic symbol. The Fool. The Fool in this deck is great. He's free. His feet are made of butterflies. It's excellent. Oh, this world is so good. I love her elongated bodies. They're not exactly exaggerated, but they are kind of ethereal in a way. And I'll just, throw the cards. Why not? Got a satyr there. And this Strength card, if you look very, very closely, she's straddling that lion. You got the pearls. You can read into that however you like. But yeah, so those are my sexy decks. Those are my decks that make me think about love and lust and all of that stuff together. So now the next one is the Confidence Booster, the deck that is self-esteem based, and I picked the Darkness of a Light because I always get a reading out of it that is very clear to me. I've shown this a bunch of times, but the deck just, I don't ever feel stuck when I read it. Whoop. I don't ever have to tease meanings out of cards. It's just there, so it's comfortable, and so I always feel kind of good at reading when I read it. I know that's kind of silly, but yeah, this deck is very easy for me to read. So that's my self-esteem deck. And then the last is the Higher Self deck, the deck that vibrates at a higher level than everything else. And for me, that is 100% my Tabula Mundi deck. This deck has only ever been used to read for other people once, and it'll probably never be used again because it's really my personal deck, and it's just got my print on it. It works for me. It gives me the answers I need. It gives me the information I seek. I just picked out a few of my favorite cards. I mean, they're all my favorite cards, but especially this one. This is one I was studying the other night. Anything with bees on it and information in the cards about bees has got a lot of really interesting it's got a lot of interesting things associated with it. I know I've mentioned that in another deck or another video talking about honey in the heart, and I posted an excerpt from book M in the description box, so if you haven't seen that, go back and check. It's a great little excerpt. But yeah, so this deck is the one that I read when I really need to seek deep answers, not how will my day go tomorrow, or what is my boss mad at me, or I don't want to say silly questions, because no question is silly, and any reason that you seek tarot is important, or seek answers from the tarot is important. But this deck is the one I use when I need to do some soul searching. So that was my letter tarot tag, hosted by Miss Tracy too. So thank you very much for putting this together. That was really great. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.